Hello, welcome to Good Work Now, your resource for finding and creating good work. When your customers see your business name or leave your business, what kind of image do you hope they have? Today we're going to be talking about your business brand. What is it? Why it's important, and what you can do to develop the kind of image that you're hoping to have. Joining me will be Lucy Costa. She is president of Promotional Incentives Incorporated, a Cape Coral, Florida-based company that has been getting results for clients since 1990 with branded promotional products such as corporate apparel, awards and recognition, promotional giveaways, programs, and incentives. Her clients range from professional organizations to healthcare, construction, development, real estate, schools, manufacturing, service, and small business. So let's stay tuned and talk more about your business brand. Lucy, thank you so much for being on Good Work Now.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with the first question. What is a brand?
A brand is a living, breathing identity for a business or an organization. When you achieve a brand, you're doing more than just showcasing a logo or some kind of graphic element. It has to be incorporated into every aspect of a business, not just a visual, but in the entire corporate organization.
So it generates an impression, a reaction in the minds of folks that hear it or see it.
Yes.
And so a business could just be a business of one, not just a large corporation, but a single entity, a person may have a brand as well.
Oh, I think it's completely possible for an individual or sole proprietorship or small business to create and develop a brand that has a national or an international feel that would make people think there's hundreds of employees behind the company.
Exactly, right. And as an example, I have here an example of a brand. This is a Good Work Now mug that guests on Good Work Now walk away with, and I pass out at promotional events.
One of the things in developing and maintaining a brand that's absolutely crucial is repetition, consistency, and frequency.
Okay. Why is it important to have a brand?
There's a lot of reasons to have a brand. Number one that comes to mind is differentiating your company or your service from the competition. That is one of the most important aspects to having a brand. If you take like pest control or air conditioning companies or things like that, that there are a dime a dozen furniture companies. And how do you distinguish your company or your product line from others? A lot of times the services or the products, it's like with my business, there are any number of thousands of places you can get those products. My brand is about getting results through those products and focusing on what the products do. But that's what differentiates me. And so to convey some uniqueness or individual angle that your company or your organization offers, and if you can communicate that through a brand, that's even better.
So in this sense, a brand is not just a nice thing to do, it's essential from a business perspective.
It's very much an integral business ingredient, but it's hard to wrap your hands around it, and it's hard to get the money people to justify expenditures towards creating a brand, because it takes, as we talked about before, a lot of repeat and frequency of exposure, and really in a multitude of arenas. So you want a mix of advertising and marketing efforts, so that I always tell people, you don't necessarily have to pay to be everywhere, but your prospect or your customer, you want them to think you're everywhere.
Good point. How does one go about getting a brand for their business?
Well, research and development is always a key thing, but generally people don't have enough time or money to do it properly. But at a glance, to analyze your competition and people in your market and take a look at what their brand is, what their logo is, where they're advertising, how they're developing their business. Because you want to try to do something maybe a little different. But I think it's essential that, ideally if you could have focus groups and you could kind of question people and get a feel for if we use red or if we use black, or does that exude a certain feeling? And it's just kind of a gut instinct sometimes that people just go on, and if you can back that up with some research and support, it's even better. But generally, you're going to work with a graphic artist to create a logo. And then the brand extends into your corporate environment, into your training of personnel, into your sales pieces, into any of your advertising, your website. You want to try to make sure that your logo brand appears the same everywhere as much as possible, so that every time this client or prospect sees your business name or your brand or your logo, they can get an identity or a feeling about your company.
I remember when I was working with a consultant on the logo for Good Work Now, and as a starting point, she asked me to brainstorm all the elements that I wanted to have associated with my business or the show. And that helped them to put together the particular design.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And one of the best examples that I think of a company that has just done a marvelous job of branding is Moe's, the Mexican grill. Mexican restaurants are, a dime a dozen, but Moe's did something very unique, and they created a fun, lively atmosphere and environment that is conveyed through everything they do. Their billboards, their print ads, their uniforms. Every time you walk in there, welcome to Moe's, and they have that's the signature tagline, and so as soon as you see any ads or any promotions for Moe's, you get a feeling of fun, affordable Mexican food. And so that's their brand.
Exactly.
It's not a fancy place. You're not going to go there for fine dining. It's reasonably priced, family oriented.
It's like a tagline is an abbreviation of a business's mission statement.
Absolutely. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, yeah. And if you can create that, you look at like a healthcare system like Lee Memorial Health Systems, and they're multiple entities, multiple hospitals, doctors groups, etc. That's a real challenge to create a unifying brand across the board. But you'll notice that they use their two-color logo, Lee Memorial Health System, pretty much on anything in association with the hospital name or the doctor's group or something like that. So they're going to continue to use that no matter what, and that's going to be kind of plugged in anything they do to do with their organization.
It's like an organization's website. The masthead is similar for all departments, but each department can customize their particular page.
And you want to, it gets right down to the nitty-gritty of type fonts and color choices and looks. If you're a concrete company, you don't want anything that looks soft and warm and fuzzy necessarily. It's a concrete company. You want to exude function and efficiency and stability.
Right.
So
Wait.
they wouldn't give away necessarily a stress squeeze. They might give away something that's more substantial,
Like a paperweight.
and a paperweight, or something that's a little piece of a cinder block or something like that.
Right.
To exude what it is that they do and make sure it's consistent with the products and services that they provide.
Lucy, thanks so much for giving us this quick tour of brands and why they're important and some things to think about if a business is putting together their brand. If you would like to see more about what Lucy does, or if you have questions for Lucy, you can visit her website at promotionalincentives.com. And feel free to provide any feedback or ideas for future shows by visiting my website, goodworknow.com. Until next time, keep up the good work.